Welcome to Myofascial release and yin for the lower body. Take one tennis ball or cross ball, massage ball of some sort, and a couple blocks is always helpful. If you're near a wall, that can also be really helpful but not necessary. And just place the ball near you and find a comfortable stance to begin standing. You might give a little shake out, get some wiggles out, and think of this initial posture as a standing shavasana. Just minimal effort here. Let your body's intuition take over to keep you upright. Let everything else soften. No need to worry here about a particular posture, good or bad. There are no labels. Just simply draw your awareness to what is. Start from your foundation, the feedback you have from the floor. Notice the way your foot meets the floor. The negative spaces in between. There's more weight towards the inner edges of your feet, outer edges, perhaps closer to the ball mound versus your heel. Do you naturally stand with knees straight, perhaps even a little towards the locked outside or bent? Observe the position of your pelvis, if it feels like a bowl of water spilling forward or pouring back. Notice where your ribs are in relation to your hips, where shoulders are over hips, how ears relate to shoulders. You might gently make little adjustments to find a place where there's even more ease and a better chance at allowing your breath to fill your body more evenly. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let your exhale pour down to your feet. And inhale, balloon through front, side, and back body. Exhale, weight it straight down. One more inhale. Stick out your tongue, exhale. Allow your jaw to remain soft. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth and feel some heaviness behind your eyes. With that weighted feeling still, blink your eyes open. And reconnect to your ball and place it underneath one of your feet. Start towards the ball mound of your foot and just simply let the ball mound of your foot relax over it, so it'll naturally curve over the shape of the ball. And slide your foot slightly forward until you find a place that hasn't met the ball yet, and just weight over it. All right, not thinking a lot of movement here, just rolling a little bit lower and then simply pouring your weight into it. Notice for sharpness, that's a great sign to back out. Really easily pouring your weight in and then shifting. Notice if there's more tenderness, inner, outer arch. Where along your foot as you continually move towards your heel, does tenderness come up? And then you can continue just like that, or start again through the ball mound of your foot, and this time keep the pressure down and slowly start to roll. Moving really incrementally and thinking less about your foot rolling the ball, but the tissue of your foot giving way and allowing that roll to happen. It can be a little bit more intense this way because we're getting into the deeper tissues. When we move too quickly, just like in yin, the more superficial tissues can take the strain. There can even be contraction, resistance against the pressure that you're experiencing. And then you can focus this a little more towards the outer arch of your foot, the inner arch, or keep it right on the ball mound and flare your toes and release. It's going to to get more into the transverse arch that spans across big toe, pinky toe mount. You feel good with that movement. Set your foot back down to the floor, close down your eyes, and observe any differences you experience. A sensation of your feet, perhaps a sense of relief, a lightness, different way your foot meets the floor and the spaces between. But more so than that, is there a difference between your two legs, the sensation? Is there any difference in the way your hips sit, your back feels, all the way up the crown of your head? Observe the ripple effects of just working on your feet. Then reopen your eyes and switch to the other side. Right, starting with a slow, just compression, feeling your foot mold around the ball, relax over it, and then just a small shift in that same lean compression. You might experience intense sensation, but that's not necessarily the goal here. So you can lessen the amount of pressure you're applying. Good check-in point to notice grip in fingers, grip in jaw, facial expression, grip in for chest, constriction of breath. All signs that either backing away or more consciously relaxing the grip that comes into your body. After you've made your way all the way to your heel, start in the ball mound of your foot and let the tissue give way and create the movement of your roll. That could be right down the center, inner, outer arch. Notice if the sensations are different on this side, stronger, lesser, different. Right, these differences, these asymmetries offer a point of reflection. They actually provide you with more information. So allow the differences that arise and the way you meet those differences be one without critical eyes. And let your foot land back to the floor. Just simply stand and take your reflection. The difference might be a pull back from your memory of what it felt like before you rolled to what it feels now. Or again, just kind of a right to left observation. Inhale, circle your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, soften your knees, fold down towards the earth. Inhale, lengthen yourself up a little bit halfway. You can exhale, lower your hips down towards your heels. And then allow your knees to move forward. Keep your toes curled under for a broken toe pose. Feet closer together, knees closer together is going to be more intense. Knees wide, torso forward is going to be less intense. We'll be here for just about a minute or so, not hang out too long as it can be intense. But notice if it feels a little bit easier than usual. The answer doesn't have to be yes, but see if you can just reflect on any differences after the roll. Continue to unwind any grip that you find. You might choose to make your breath a bit more audible in your ears. Give yourself an anchor point as the intensity does rise. And intentionally lengthen your exhale. Emphasize the exhale to allow your nervous system calm a little bit more as it meets this intensity. Just 3 more cycles of breath. gently rock off of the top of your feet. Allow your toes to unwind and might just let the sensation dissipate or give a little tap out to release. And from your tabletop position, stack your right knee on top of your left knee, right at the top of your calf, and just compress like we did with the ball. Simple compression, breath. You can slightly shift your knee over towards the inner edge of the calf. Transfer over to the outer edge of the calf. If you find a particular sensitive spot or tender area that signals to you it needs a little more work, find again the compression, simple, and then move your right foot, your right hip. Just a little wave of your toes side to side. Continue down the length of your calf, moving to your heel. No rush here. And when you're done, just switch right over to the other side. Start with a simple compression breath to meet the intensity. I'm going to slide towards the inner edge or the outer edge. You don't necessarily have to span the whole calf, but might stay with the places that feel particularly relevant. I find a bit of resistance to stay with the areas that are tender, but often that's where the work is most needed. Once you get all the way down to the calf, curl your toes under, walk your hands back, and then press off of your knees to come into a squat. Now that can be a little ball pose with your heels heavy to the floor and just lean over. You can come more into a malasana with knees wide. The wall back behind you or a block underneath your hips can be extra bits of support in this hold. And we'll stay here for about 2 minutes. Again, not quite as long. So find the place where it feels like you'll get some sensation, but it won't be overpowering. One more breath in. Exhale, let it go. And slowly rock your knees back forward, untuck your toes, and come to a kneeling position. Relocate your block and slide it underneath of your shin, right? Pick a side. So you'll want to make sure that the shin bone right in the center, you're moving to the outside of the shin bone into the medial area. And once you connect to some sort of squishy area, then you can lean yourself forward, access a little bit more pressure if you'd like. And you can let your knee roll closer towards the center to target the tissues a little more on the outside of the shin, or kind of keep it right close to the shin bone. And just lift your knee up a little bit and slide the ball down and make your way down that way. There isn't a ton of meat in this area, So the farther you go down towards the ankle, you might find a little less, and that doesn't really need that compression. And then switch it over to the other side. Once you've finished with that, you have a few different choices here. Take a block underneath your hips and find just a simple kneeling hero's pose. You can choose to slide your hands back behind you and pick your hips up to further the stretch through the front line of your legs. Right? You can also do that without the block for a little more sensation, either hips on heels or hips between heels. You can continue to walk yourself back to a reclined hero's pose or saddle pose. Key here is not to feel pain, excess pressure in the knees and the ankles. You want to make this a sustainable posture. You can take your blocks back behind you, kind of create a supported fish within your hero's pose, letting the block that's vertical go between your shoulder blades and the block that's straight up and down. I guess they're kind of both vertical. Support your head. If you have a bolster, you can lay it on top of this stacked position for a bit more comfort. I have 3 minutes in this shape to breathe into your front body. Again, check in if this feels like a sustainable posture to be. Let the movement, if you take it, be in this first part of the posture. See if you can resolve to maintain stillness. Very incrementally, start to make your way upright. Press into forearms, palms. Scoot hips to one side, let your legs go out. Feel that release of all the compression. Notice flush of sensation, perhaps a sense of rushing fluid, heat. Guide yourself onto your back and keep your ball nearby. Lift up your hips and slide the ball right towards the edge of your sacrum, the diamond-shaped bone at the base of your spine. So just sliding off of the bone there into the meaty part of your glutes, but staying again towards the edge of the bone. So this is where our muscle attachments are, closer towards the bone. It can be very helpful to start here with the unwinding. Use the weight of gravity to do the work. Again, doesn't have to be a lot of movement initially, or ever really. Slide the ball a little bit lower or higher along the sacrum, just kind of tracing its border. Taking note if there's particular spots that feel a little more tender. Those are great places to come back to. And when you do come back to the area that feels a little more tender, you can try adding a open and close to your knee. So pinning the ball right where it is, and then adding movement through the leg. And then you can slide the ball a little higher up towards the arc of your hip, the arches at the top of your hip, bridging the low back. And then just kind of continue to explore into further meaty areas. You might roll towards your side to get into TFL, which the IT band attaches into. You can roll towards the center of the glute. And wherever you find a little more tenderness, breathe into that space. You can add in the open and close of your knee. Good, great place to check in with your jaw, the front of your neck. Tends to grip there when muscles of our hips are being worked on, or if they're holding tension, resistance. Let your jaw wiggle around, open and close your mouth, stick out your tongue and exhale. And switch over to the other side when you're ready. Start again at the border of the sacrum, just simple compression and breath. Imagine that your breath is just expanding into your lower abdomen and the inverse of that, your low back, your sacrum. See if you can feel a sense of pressure increase as you inhale down into the ball, and then the weight of your body sinking into the ball with your exhale. And you can try the open and close of your knee. Go more to the arches of the hip, the immediate areas of the hip. Move over to the side, even roll to your side to get into the TFL. Wiggle your jaw and relax it. Might flutter your lips as you exhale, or breathe through a straw. Anything to keep your jaw relaxed as you do this perhaps intense work. And once you finish with that, set the ball off to the side and find a figure 4 position that could be just grounded. You can pull your knees into your chest, but a less effortful way to find that pose is to step your foot on a wall and then cross your ankle over. Further forward, you scoot your hips towards the wall. The more sensation you'll likely experience. More isn't necessarily better here. We got 3 minutes here. with an internal gaze, watch the unwinding, the rebound as you release your leg. Notice where the dissipation of sensation goes, the change of sensation, the wash of fluid. And then switch to the other side. And you might adjust yourself closer or farther away from the wall depending on what you find on this side. Acknowledge your asymmetry and meet it as it is. Take a slow unwinding. Notice lightness, movement, whatever comes up. If you have a wall, my suggestion is to scoot a little closer to it to find a legs up the wall. If you're not using a wall, a block underneath your hips and legs straight up can be a nice solution for legs up the wall. This is going to be my invitation for where you stay for a few more minutes. You can also choose to come right into Shavasana, but this little inversion allows the lymphatic system to do the work of clearing away any waste. Allow yourself a few more purposeful breaths as you sink into this posture. Let these breaths pave the way to an utmost relaxation. Letting the work, the intensity of the practice fall to the side. You can simply be here and receive the fruit of your efforts. Please give yourself ample time in this shape, in whatever shape feels most conducive to your rest. And just like you gave yourself time throughout these postures, allow time, allow a gradual shift out of this practice before you move on with your